So, thank God we got there last week, right? So today we're going to talk about Sarah, Hagar, and Hamar. Okay. These three women lived out their creative purposes, often from a very difficult position or difficult time in their lives. So they're good examples for us. So we will start. We're going to be in day 1 of lesson 2 on page 38. We'll try to help keep y'all up on the pages in the book. Okay. For those who have it. And if you don't, you'll still be able to follow along. I'm just going to try to keep you up. We're going to be in Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 9. And this is where God talks to Abram and tells him to leave Earth. I'm not going to read all of it. In verse 1, now the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So here's where God is telling Abram to leave. And JB shares in this book, so I never knew, that I thought was interesting, said that where Abraham and Sarah come from, Abram, Sarai, they had found some gold, silver, musical instruments, all kinds of chariots and some weapons and even game boards. So I guess she's letting us know that was the big city of the day.
Did you say Game Boys?
Game boards.
I heard that.
Sorry.
Okay.
Not Game Boy, Game boards.
Wow. Game Boys.
But
I lived over at her. I was like, did she say Game Boys? She's like,
but if you can imagine that now that you've said that, if you compare that in today's time,
yeah.
It was just like them leaving, the comforts of a home. It wasn't just some little hick town. It was the thriving city, per the archaeologists' findings. So they were told just to get up, leave, and leave this bustling town that you're a part of for places unknown. So, no, that had to be hard. It had to be hard on Sarah. And also during this time, you stop and think about it, there was no way of quick traveling back or contact back with your family or friends. When you left, I just want to tell you, when you left. So they were told to get up and leave. And that's what they did. So, talk about the covenant in verses 4 through 9. Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarah his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substances that they had gathered, and blah, 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 and went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. So they left, and in verse 7, the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, unto thy seed will I give this land, and there builded he an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. So verse 7 is where, God tells Abraham, I will give thee, bless thee with thy seed. land, the promise that we've all read, we know about. So hence comes the adventure of Abraham and Sarah, and we read from here, we see a lot of chaos going on in their lives. Pretty much like we see our own lives in chaos. But still in chapter 12, verses 10 through 20, this is where Abraham, and I want to point this out, I don't want to read all of it necessarily, but this is where he told Sarah, that you're a pretty woman, you're good, you're good to look upon, and we go through Egypt, I'm gonna, instead of saying you're my wife, because they will kill me for you, I want you to say that you are my sister, okay? So, we know that story. I want you to pay attention to this. I'll bring it back up again. But this is, in page 40 of the book is where I'm at now, sorry. But Abram tells Sarah to do this thing, to lie. And so, I've often wondered, how did this make Sarah feel? To say, did this not put her in a peculiar position?
I would think so, because if she wasn't his wife, anything could happen to her.
Exactly. So I wonder how she felt about being put in this position. And although she was put in this position, not of her own free will, I might add, God intervenes. And he takes care of Sarah. He protects her. He watches over her, because the promised seed is going to be coming through her, through her line, through her being in the lineage. But I think it's so sweet, I don't know if sweet's the right word, that God took care of Sarah amongst Abraham's chaos that he created. Okay? So he created this chaos, but God still took care of her. Any questions? Anything on that? Anybody got any thoughts or? No. So we get through that. We get through that story, and now we're going to go on and talk about a little bit more about the covenant. So we're going to be in Genesis 15. Seems like we're doing a lot of turning. 2 through 6. And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. So this is where the promise is laid down and given to Abraham, that he will have a son. He will have an heir. Okay, so he's going to have an heir, but where is it? Where is this heir? It said Abram was 75 years old when they departed her. So I don't know, what was the age difference in Sarah and Abraham? I want to say like 10 years. For some reason, I don't know why that's popping in my head. But, in today's terms, she was definitely past childbearing. And so this put them in a place called liminal space. And a liminal space is a place, and I love this word, a place of discombobulation. I use that word a lot. It's confusion, bewilderment, like when's God gonna answer, when's he gonna come, they're in this liminal space. And there's one or two things that we can do when we're in this liminal space. We can wait on God, trust him, take him at his word, and let him work things out. Which seems like, okay, that's what we'll do. Or we can do and take things into our own hands and try to work them out. Well, I don't know how much liminal space Abraham was in, but he didn't trust God to take care of him when they went into Egypt. He was scared, they'd kill him. So he did his own thing, and he created chaos. Okay? Now, we're going to go, page 44 is where I'm at in the book. Talk about liminal space happenings. Okay? So we're in this liminal space. I don't know how many years it's been, but we know Sarah is older, say older. So Genesis 16, 1 through 6, Sarah talks to Abraham, and she comes up with this little idea so he can have a son. Yeah. Here's my handmaid, Hagar. Have her so we can have a son. You can have a son. Okay, so I hear a lot about how Sarah put Abraham in this predicament, and Hagar, if you will. But I don't know, this time when I read, I noticed, well, Sarah, and I'm just going to throw this out there, Sarah is going by the example that she seen, witnessed earlier. Anybody ever thought of that? Abraham lied? To say, so she's kind of following, let's put it this way, she's following his lead? That's a good word, ain't it? That just comes to me. She's following his lead, is she not? I mean, I'm not blaming this on Abraham or anything like that, but she's following the example that's set in front of her. Okay, I mean, just a thought, just like, this makes me think of, I remember when I was raising the girls, they were real little, one of the Sunday school teachers said, what was it he said? Don't tell your children to not do something if you're doing it, I can't remember how you worded it.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of that. Do as I say, not as I do. Exactly. Is that not exactly what's happening here? Any thoughts? Anybody got any thoughts on that? Why? And I go back. This goes back to last week. Why Sarah's looked down upon so much for the wrong she did, but Abraham was kind of overlooked. You know it. I mean, if I'm wrong, correct me. Satan hates women. He wants to make it as hard on us as he can. So, from the beginning, he's hating women. Any thoughts? No? Kind of my thought.
He didn't have to do it.
Huh?
He didn't have to.
He didn't have to lie?
Well, he didn't have to.
Sleep with Hagar? Yeah.
He didn't have to.
That's true too. Yeah. That's true too. But he did. Just like, Adam took my life. Woohoo. Power of persuasion. I don't know, women, ladies, women. Leave it there. That just came. So, of course, we know, remember that this is living with space again. Of course, we know that Hagar does conceive, and Sarah is not really happy with this turning out like it did. Is that the same bird from
It
last
is,
week?
it really is.
They need to go away. Everybody's looking at the bird.
Sorry.
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay.
The bird wants to learn too.
Well, I guess.
She must have a nest up underneath the garden.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, probably. We might have to. Sorry, not that.
Yeah, I can do that.
So anyway, we know Hagar is despised by Sarah, and I don't know. Hagar might have had an attitude towards Sarah. I don't know. But anytime we try to fix things or take care of things in our own hands, what
Make a
happens?
mess of it.
What happens?
Make a mess of it.
Chaos happens.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just using that word a lot. Chaos. Chaos happens. So here goes Hagar. In chapter 16, she runs off to have her spill, if you will. In Genesis 16, verses 7 through 16, we find Hagar upset, don't know what to do. And the angel of the Lord comes into her and says, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. So, the angel of the Lord appeared unto her, telling her, you will have a child, you will have a son. And in verse 13, it says, And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? So she called upon the name of the Lord, and he spoke unto her. So she's saying, God has seen me. This is a handmaid that I don't know that she had any control whatsoever of what was happening. I don't know. But she's seeking God, and so to speak, he finds her. And not only does he find her, but he blesses her. And so she is first, this is the first recording in the Bible of an angel appearing to someone. The first recording of an angel appearing to someone, and that angel's appearing to Hagar, a handmaid. Isn't that just special? A handmaid. God is hearing her. Does that not tell us how much God thinks of us? He hears us. He knows our desires. He knows our needs. And he hears us. And then, verse 14, she names the well, if I can pronounce this, Ba'er Lahawari. That sound good? Which means well of the one who lives and sees me. So she names that well, after God. I never thought of that before, how, that she did that. I know Ben did it all the time in the Bible, Jacob, Abraham, blah, blah, blah. So she named a well too, which I think is pretty cool. So, any questions, comments, anything so far? Is everybody with me? We good? Okay, now we're gonna talk about the rest of the story. I just can't help but think of Paul Harvey every time I read this chapter, the rest of the story. Y'all remember him? Okay, so now we're gonna do the rest of the story. That wasn't very good, but I tried. So, something I noticed, I think yesterday when I was reviewing, in Genesis 17, if you will, starting at verse 15. And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations, kings of people shall be of her. Remember, liminal space. They're in liminal space right now. Catch verse 17, okay? Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed. Remember that word, Abraham laughed, okay? And said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old, and shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? Ha, that's why I come up with 10 years. So it's Bible based. Did y'all catch something there?
Yeah, you laugh?
He laughed. I have never really paid much attention to that before. He laughed when God gave him the promise. Okay? Now, let's go over to chapter 18. And you're going to read starting in verse 9. And this is when the angels appeared unto Abraham. Y'all know the story. Sarah's in the tent. Angels are talking to Abraham about the promise. Verse 9. And they said unto him, where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life, and lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. Now, Abraham and Sarah were old and were stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. So she could no longer get pregnant. Put it in the shell. Therefore, Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also. Ladies, Abraham laughed first at the promise. I never knew that. Nobody ever talks about that. Abraham laughed first. Then Sarah laughed. Well, if anybody has a right to laugh, I think it's Sarah, because she can't have babies anymore. You know?
But Sarah laughed inside.
She laughed within herself.
Yes, that's true too.
She didn't do it out loud.
Yeah.
That's true too. You're right, I didn't think about that, but yes, she did. God heard her though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He heard her. He heard her. But this makes me think, and just now popped in my head, how those we are around can affect us. That's not where I'm going with this. It's just a thought I just had thinking this. I don't know if she heard Abraham laugh at God's promise earlier, but kind of sounds like to me, this makes the second time she's following the lead. Just something I noticed. So, anyway, Sarah laughs, and the Lord said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child which am old? Verse 14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? What a strong statement. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Still in liminal space, remember that. They don't know that Isaac's coming. I mean, they've been told the promise, but really in their minds, you know, it's not happened yet, so they're still in liminal space. We're in liminal space a lot of times, are we not? When we need wonder, you know, where is God at? Why is this happening? And just like Sarah and Abraham, we tend to create chaos too. But I want to reference Mark verse 9. Mark chapter 9, I'm sorry. In verse 23. 9:23. Jesus said unto him, If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief.
Can I, sorry, it takes, my wheel is still spinning in my head. Going back to Sarah, verse 15, it says that Sarah denied that she laughed. She said that Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, nay, that thou didst laugh. So I'm just wondering why she denied.
Well, I mean, I don't know, this is just the immediate thought that comes to
I
mind.
didn't laugh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Is it, how different is that from us when we deny God's will and we
Right,
create chaos ourselves? I mean, is it any different?
right.
I don't know.
I was just wondering why.
She's scared. Well, she's
She's
scared.
scared, yeah.
Yeah, she's scared.
Got caught.
She got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I really wouldn't say condemnation, but you know, something.
It's like when you get onto your kid and
Yeah.
you said, why did you do this? I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I just saw you do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just my,
Yeah. Well,
I get into stuff too much, I guess.
no.
But I was just wondering why, and who called her out?
I guess the Lord. Yeah, the Lord said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh?
Okay.
I guess the Lord called it out.
He didn't call Abraham.
Maybe it's because they were alone. I don't know.
He didn't know that she was listening on the other side of the tent. Or, I mean, the Lord probably knew.
Yeah,
Maybe he
yeah.
was-
Well, and that's another thing, you said she did. But guess what? Even though she denied it, guess what? God still blessed her.
Oh, yeah.
God still thought her important enough and worthy enough to still bless. Just like he does us. You know?
Oh, yeah, I laugh all the time.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's because Sarah was in public more, maybe Abraham wasn't, I don't know. I mean, that's just, I guess that's one of those questions we'll have to ask.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, it says she laughed within herself, so did she laugh? She didn't.
I know.
So it had to be God that called her out. It had to
Yeah.
be God.
So did she didn't really laugh out loud.
No,
You just laughed in silence.
Yeah.
So it had,
but God
I was
knows.
just wondering who was calling her out. Like, was it
Was
God?
it
or
the
Abraham?
Lord?
Do you think it took so long for this to happen because they kept trying to do it on their own? Like, and if they would just done what God said to do, they wouldn't be in the 100.
I don't know, I've never thought of that, I don't know. A lot of times I will tell you, I think that God waited until it was impossible in man's eyes, so everybody would know it was of God.
To prove a point, to glorify Him.
Yeah, I do think that. I believe that. So that might be why, I don't know, but that's a good question when you think about things you've never really thought much about before.
Sorry.
That's okay, no, that's okay, I like it when you ask a question, it makes me think,
Could you
and
imagine? carrying
puts
a
me on the
baby
spot.
No,
I
no, ma'am,
can't
no, ma'am.
imagine doing it now, even
No.
50.
Yeah, it said that they had a 10-year age gap because he was 80 and she was 90 when they, no, he was 100 and she was 90 when they
Yeah.
like had the baby. But then like when when she died, she only got to 137, but since Abraham was like, he made a promise to her before like they died that he was gonna like live longer than her, so he lived till he was 157.
Well, you know,
Quite educated, thank you.
I did not know that.
So, we need help, we all need help with our unbelief. So, you know, may we be like the Father here in Mark. Lord, I believe, help thou my unbelief. Something to think about and carry with you. So we know nothing is too hard for God. Now, getting to Sarah, back to Sarah. Sarah, now I thought this was interesting, and you read this is in Genesis 23. Sarah was the first Israelite to be buried in the promised land. She's the first one that we have, no, Hagar is the first one we have reporting an angel going to, and then Sarah is the first one that is buried in the promised land. So God's doing a lot of firsts with women. I never noticed that before. That's a beautiful thing. Also, this said Abraham lived another 47 years after Sarah died, but very little is told of him. Huh. Very little is said about Abraham after Sarah dies. Oh, just take that and do whatever you want to do with it.
He mourned himself to death.
And Chrissy's Bible tells us.
It says, your wife Sarah will bear you a son and you will name him Isaac, and then it has like a note, so I looked at the bottom, and that means he laughs. The name means he laughs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So,
He laughs. Named after both Sarah and Abraham, not just Sarah. What?
that's what I was getting ready to point out, that named after the fact that they laughed at the promise.
I have to stick it with nervous laughter.
Not one of those mimicking ones,
Yeah.
one of those mimicking Thank you for sharing that, I didn't know that. Isaac means laugh, he laughs. That's pretty cool, I like that. Something to think about. So very little is said about Abraham after Sarah dies. Sarah's the first one to be buried in the promised land. And she is also spoken of in Hebrews 11, the Faith Hall of Fame, as we call it. Hebrews 11. Through faith also, Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. So Sarah has the blessing. Sarah is the one that's found faithful. I'm not saying Abraham wasn't, but I thought that was pretty cool that through faith, Sarah received strength to conceive. And because she judged him faithful who had promised. There had to be some belief there. There had to be something there. Any questions? So we've had chaos, and God still blesses through the chaos. Now we're going to go to Tamar. Tamar is interesting.
Tamar.
Tamar.
We're going to Tamar, guys.
My goodness, Mary. Well, in here so you can hear better.
It's because I live with Scott.
No. Jack can hear her.
Okay.
I'm
So-
so sorry.
So Tamar is a Canaanite. She is the wife of who is the first. I like these city and boy. Boy. Did you hear that?
Art.
So,
Somebody had Uz and Buzz over here.
Cousin Buzz.
They're kids. That's what they named them. Sorry, we got people over that.
yeah. You get me sidetracked.
I'm
man.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So, we've got Tamar, Canaanite. She's married to Judah. Who is Judah? The line of the tribe of David. Judah's just so, I don't know, what do you say, up there? What's a good word? His name, he's highly respected. His name is blessed. What do we say that? He's blessed.
He's the
because-
high man on the totem pole.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. But she marries that's his oldest son. Judah's oldest son. And is very wicked. Bible doesn't stress any what he does, but he's very wicked. So, he dies. Thank you. He dies. Then, as was common in those days, Tamar was given to Onan, the next brother in line. And Onan, we read in, what is it, this is Genesis 38, by the way. Verse 8, and Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. So, she goes to two men, brothers. Remember, she has done nothing. There is no recording in the Bible of anything that she has done wrong. Okay? Again, I'm going to keep going back to this. Satan hates women. He hates us. So both husbands die. Nothing to do with Tamar. And Judah said to Tamar in verse 11, remain a widow at thy father's house till Sheila, that sounds like a woman's name, doesn't it, Sheila? Anyway, my son be grown, for he said, lest peradventure he die also as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. So, cultural background here. Levirate marriage was a culture expectation designed to preserve some aspect of a deceased man's life. Therefore, that's why Onan said, it will be considered his brother's son. His brother, yeah. And also, if no brother-in-law existed to fulfill the Levirate duty, the father-in-law was responsible. So, when you married into his family, you married into his family. You stayed with it. You stuck with it. Unless the father-in-law declares you a widow, so you can move on with your life. That was the Hittite. Is that right? Hittite law. So, this is not necessarily uncommon, again, Tamar, a woman, was put in a position she hadn't planned on. That wasn't, you know, and so she couldn't remarry or anything. She is what we call, again, in liminal space. Okay? So, Genesis 38, starting in verse 14, we read a little bit more about Tamar. She come up with her own plan, maybe. So she put her widow's garments off from her and covered her with a veil and wrapped herself and sat in an open place, which is, by the way, to Timnath, for she saw that Shelah was grown and she was not given unto him to wife. So I don't know how many years transpired here, but he was gone now and she didn't get her promise that Judah had given her. So we know the story. Yeah.
So she was lied to and done dirty by a man, by her father-in-law.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to clarify that I was thinking correctly here.
Yeah, I mean, in today's time.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yes, but at the same time, his other two sons died after they married her, so,
Well, that second one, it was his fault because he didn't do what he was supposed to do, so.
yeah, but does Judy know that?
Wait, I can't hear.
I told her, I said, well, that second one, it was his fault because he didn't do what he was done told to do. That's
Well,
why
and
he
the
did
first
it.
one was wicked, and
Oh.
so Jesus, and the Lord slew him.
I mean, it was both false, but does Judah know that?
You think Judah knew that?
I don't think he did.
Oh, you don't think he did? Okay, well, that's neither here nor there, per se.
He just sees that this woman's marrying children and they're dying.
So she's in liminal space. So, as we know the story, she comes up with a plan and she does something about it. Okay? Right, wrong, I don't know. But I do know it takes two to tango. Okay? So here she is at the gate, and here comes Judah. And he sees her, he wants her, so he takes her, has her, whatever, however you want to put that. And her being smart has proof of this. Okay, prove it's him. And so we know Tamar, a lot of people, look at Tamar as the prostitute, that she's acted as a prostitute. Well, in a way, she's following the law. Maybe in a side way, because the father-in-law is supposed to be the next one in line, and he did not take her, and he didn't set her free. So she took matters into her own hand, but anyway, here she is. But why do we not, and I've wondered this before, not just now studying this, but I've wondered it for a while. Why is everybody pointing fingers at Tamar, yet nobody's pointing a finger at Judah? Why? Anybody?
Because you automatically go to her being a prostitute.
But she wasn't? Was she a prostitute? Does the Bible say anything about her? I mean, this woman could have went and had relations with anybody and bear children, could she not? But she kind of followed the law, so to speak. Right? But why? Because beside all that, I mean, that's just, what it is. Why is Tamar looked down upon so much and Judah isn't?
Because
Come on,
women,
y'all tell me, y'all had to notice this before.
I just feel like women back then were just used as a scapegoat, that they were uneducated or whatever, and they just didn't have the, I don't know,
We were kind of just property.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of just property.
You were just used to bear their children
Anybody else?
Women is always blamed.
I can't hear you.
Women is always blamed. Her dress was too short. She's too revealing.
That's the truth.
So women, I like getting to what?
It is easier to blame somebody who is defenseless than it is to blame somebody who can defend themselves. And women were looked at as being very defenseless,
Okay.
even more so than we are now, and it's 2026.
I worked with a lady many years ago. I mean, Kendra was a baby, if that tells you how long ago it was. And she, apparently that weekend, her husband was very jealous and controlling. And I was on vacation and I came back, and while I was gone, he murdered her. And they got up in court and she was somebody who loved her children fiercely. She was a good mother, even loved her husband. But apparently they were on the outs and she was hanging out with her brother and his friend. And he came to the house and shot her and the brothers in the kitchen. I mean, that tells you anything. He shot them through the window, and in court they came forth and destroyed her character. And talked about what a horrible person she was, and basically he got very little time for shooting her through a window because they came in and they basically blamed the whole thing on her. The fact that he drove to the house with a gun in the car loaded had nothing, but they blamed it all on her. And they basically said that her actions promulgated the murder. So women get blamed, like you said, the skirt was too short, she did this, she did that, and it's always our fault. And that, women who are victims of sexual assault, that's a lot of times the reason why they never come forth and say anything is because they're gonna be blamed.
I like to get to the root of the problem. That's how I want to get to the root. I don't just want to, cover code it and all that stuff and try to fix it. I want to get to the root. That's just my personality and tendencies. And y'all probably don't get tired of hearing me say this, but I keep going back to how much Satan hates women. We bore the seed of the promised one that defeated him. He is attacking us because he's scared. And he continues to do that today because he is scared of us. Just keep going back and not get away from that. I don't know, and I'm not even trying to use that as an excuse, but that keeps repeating in my mind over and over and over again. However, even in trying to defeat us, God is still blessing. He is still blessing. He blessed Sarah with a child. He blessed Tamar with a child, and she's in the lineage. She's in the lineage. So, even through all this chaos, he is still blessing. Judah, this is funny, I never thought about this either. His behavior is not becoming of anyone that is whom the line of the tribe will come through. How do they say that all the time? Judah, from whom the line of the tribe is promised. He's not having that good behavior either. No, but God still blessed him, and he's doing the same for Tamar. He's still blessing her. And you can read, because we can go to I don't know what time is it, I don't.
2:30.
Okay. we can read, and I'll give Judah this and a little bit more. But in verse 26 of 38, at first, Judah says, here's of what has happened, minus him being one. And just to burn her, let's kill her. Almighty righteous man that he is. But in verse 25 of 38, when she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man who these are am I with child. And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet and bracelets and staff. And Judah acknowledged them and said, she has been more righteous than I, because I gave her not to Shelah my son, and he knew her again no more. Judah said, she has been more righteous than I. Why don't we hear about that? We don't hear about that very often, do we? We don't. But he admits.
Repeat that again, sorry.
That's okay. Judah says, she has been more righteous than I.
Okay.
He admits he, played a part in all this. That she is more righteous.
Sorry.
He's trying to destroy.
So sorry. That is not what I had in mind. Whatever I get into.
Sorry, that was
But he admits it, and he says, I don't think we hear this enough. As women, I don't think we hear this enough. This little part here, that she is more righteous than I. Do we hear that enough? No, we don't. And why?
Because the men are supposed to be the leaders.
Oh, because the men are supposed to be the leaders, okay. Huh?
They're superior. Quotations.
Again, I'm going back to it. Because Satan hates women, he does not want us to be encouraged. He does not want us to be blessed.
God just made women different. Their makeup, I just feel like we're just different, and that's the only way. I don't know. We're just made up different,
Oh yeah.
and that's why Satan attacks us, because is there men in here? Oh, yeah. No,
Go ahead, say it there. You just
No,
married
but
to
I'm
him,
just-
say it.
like I want Scott to be a leader.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I'm more knowledgeable about it.
You're smarter.
I'm just saying certain things.
Well, I think we need to remind ourselves that, that we're more than what Satan makes us out to be.
Absolutely.
I think God made us, I think it was meant that we were supposed to believe men are superior, but I think God made women stronger. I mean, if you look at it as a whole, we bear the children, we take care of the man, we take care of the house, we do the cooking, the cleaning, the kids, the dogs, the chores, and we keep the man on the pedestal of, you're the one. Sorry, Scott. No.
Well,
I just feel like that's the way that today's society, the society has been, is like, man's up here, women's down here, but I think
Many, several years ago, we was at home, and, the kids were young, the girls were little. I don't even think Jamie was in school yet. And we was at the supper table, and, we were just talking to being family, and Tony said something like, well, I wear the pants in this family. And Kimberly, I don't know, she might have been 6 or 7, I don't know. Kimberly pops up and says, yeah, but Mama's the belt that keeps your pants up.
you
Wash the pants.
Yeah, I mean, does that not sound like him, boys? Yeah. But, yeah, he just attacks us because he's so scared of us. We are so much more than what we think we are. Then we'll read what, what did you call them? What was y'all call them? Faith and fuzz or,
Husband buzz,
huh?
husband buzz.
Cousin Buzz,
Phares and Zerah, is that who you're talking about? Tamar's sons?
they're twins, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, God blessed her with the twins.
Cousin Buzz.
With the twins. Sorry. And again, in the lineage. And I just want to close that women have never been left out or replaceable in God's eyes. Instead, they are the conduit through whom He chooses to bring about His redemption. Tamar, Eve, Mary, and in other ways. And these three women set that example. And through all the chaos, they were still blessed. And they were still part of the plan. And what was that word? What was that we used? Let's look it up.
I just feel like women, we are better willing vessels. Does that make sense? Because men can be kind of stubborn and standoffish and would argue with the Pope. But I feel like women.
Argue with what?
The Pope.
The Pope?
The
Pope. Pope. Okay, well now I can't
P-O-P-E.
get one.
Yeah. I just feel like women are just more willing. Sure, I'll do it. Like willing vessels, and so then I feel like they get blamed for more stuff.
All makes me think about here, if you don't do anything, you won't.
You can't complain.
No, that's not what I'm thinking about.
You can't be blamed if you don't do anything.
Right, something like that. Yeah, you have to be.
It's like one of those things where you ever hear that if you're always worried something's gonna happen to you, so you don't do anything, then nothing will ever happen to you.
Yeah, because you don't do anything.
Because you're
Yeah,
out of
so the more you do, the more you get blamed, I guess. That's really not what I'm saying.
Sorry. I'm
That's
just gonna be
okay.
quiet.
That's okay. They were part of what I was trying to remember. They were part of the fourfold God-given mandate. They were fruitful, they multiplied, they ruled, and they subdued. God's mandate. Any questions? Any
But
comments?
Who doesn't blame stuff on her husband sometimes? Oh, my husband says no. So I can't, because he says no. Yeah.
Okay, when do we want to come back? When do we want to come back?
Scott says no.
Do we know?
So we got Sunday next Sunday, and then the Sunday after that's Easter, so.
So we want to do it the Sunday after Easter?
The second week in April.
Yeah. Is that when we want to come back? Second week in April? Okay, that's what we'll do. Anybody got any questions?